Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. My name is Clarissa and I'm your life and wellness coach and also a beauty expert. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. We'll be discussing all things health and wellness, feeling empowered, and loving yourself more while connecting your mind, body, and spirit. Always know that you can manifest whatever you desire for your greater well-being in your life, because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Hey there, friends. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So today we're going to talk about one of the reasons why I do what I do, why I just love to help people live a healthier lifestyle, slim down if needed, reverse health conditions, all of these things, right? Which are super important. Because ideally, I would just love for you to just take one day at a time and just make little changes that just progress into bigger habits so that this becomes a lifestyle for you, right? You want that better well-being so that we can live longer for ourselves, for our loved ones, just all the things, right? Because sometimes you just see whether it's yourself or a loved one ill. We don't like seeing people we love sick, right? Nobody does. Or it could be you. Either way. Now, I know for one in my community that we have a tendency just to love food. But look, everybody loves food, right? But sometimes food is a centerpiece to be celebrated. It's like we use food as joyous times and all of these things. But it's not about the food. It's about being around people, about being around your loved ones, your family, your friends, and all of these things. And so dinner might just be the centerpiece of it all. So you just sit down and it can be bonding to cook together and just all of these things, which is good to have that togetherness, that love, that connection. And sometimes if you're trying to break away from that and be the healthy one out the bunch, you don't want to be singled out for one, or you don't want to be the only one. And then sometimes something is going on internally within somebody else. If they see you making change and they feel like, well, I don't want to do that. And that's okay. They don't have to do that if they're not ready. But on that account, a lot of times when people are eating a certain way and when it comes into the idea that certain things run in the family, like we'll talk about diabetes, right? And people might be like, well, diabetes or heart disease, all these things run in my family. Well, a lot of times, your eating habits are the same. Your manners might be the same, which you keep learning from one another. So when you talk about the generational curses and generational trauma and all of these things, they're passed down. But so we want to be the person to break that. Okay. So I would see people growing up, which I'm sure you have as well, sick, maybe some older relatives or anything, or maybe your parents or any of these things. When somebody is sick, or maybe somebody had to get a leg amputated because it got too much for them to handle their illness going through their body. They wasn't able to control their diabetes. Instead of them just changing up their food or their lifestyle habits, you just let them take over. Sometimes people don't know because they don't have the education, or sometimes people do have the education, but they don't want to make the change. So there's two things. But when you know better, you do better, right? So that's why it's good to listen to these podcasts and read books and do all the things and to get coaches. And there's lots of resources for people to get help. So I love it when somebody from my community comes to me and they want to change their life. It's a wonderful thing. So I'm like, you can be the catalyst to start that for the rest of your family. Okay. Very big things, right? And it just makes me extremely happy to do that, because it was not fun seeing people get sick or seeing people lose 15 years off of their life because they want to eat something heavy in saturated fats, because you want to fry something, because you want to eat an overconsumption of animal products, because you want to load your whole plate up with salt, right? I'm not picking on you, but this is for you to know. because we about compassion with tough love sprinkled on top over here. Because you can't be woo-wooed into changing your lifestyle. Sometimes you just got to hear what it is. All right. Because I don't want you losing 15 years off of your life. And it is important. You want to live. You should, first of all, want to live for yourself. That should be so much the main focus, right? I want you to love yourself enough to live. And then if that, your family members, do you have children? Do you have grandchildren? A spouse, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, this all applies the same. A lot of times I say sis because I'm a woman and I refer to women, but it's all for men and women, these topics that I talk about. But women, a lot of times we keep the household, right? So a lot of times we're the ones doing the cooking, right? So I'm like, hey, sis, what you getting from the store today? Or you can get things delivered, or you can get a chef. There's lots of options, but what I don't want is excuses. I don't want to hear it because there's always a way. You just have to figure out what that is for you and just stick to that. Just try to have some consistency and stick to whatever that is that you're going to decide is the way for you. Okay? Because I do want you to live. I want you to be the change in your family to break whatever that curse is that's happening. I mean, and it's not generational curses isn't just about wealth and all of these things. It's about trauma that gets passed down if you need to break a cycle of something you're seeing. So if everybody's has stress and anxiety because of how they're living, you can be the person to change that. You're like, no, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm putting a stop to that right now. I'm going to find other ways to implement to take care of my mental health because my mental health is just as important as my physical health, right? So telling yourself these things, right? And doing the actions that need to happen in order for it to go. And you already know, if you don't know, you ask who? You ask God, and he will put you in the right direction. Now, you just have to be open to receive whatever that is. I will say that all the time. Because maybe that is a coach that you need to do, right? So maybe you do need that extra help and the extra support, and that's absolutely amazing. That will get you there faster, okay? Maybe that's what you need. Because we need to change the narrative, all right? You still can have gatherings with your family, travel with your family, and do all of these things, but we want to do it in a more positive light, right? Some of the habits that we have, we can kind of tweak them some, and it might not happen overnight, but knowing that you're putting in the effort to make these changes for yourself is going to be so beneficial that other people around you will see it and they will start taking action. And the ones that don't, that's okay too. You just keep doing you and you keep pushing forward, all right? Do the work. Do whatever it is that needs to be done. So right now it is March 2022. And this time last year, my father passed away. He was 66 years old. He died from heart disease. Now, I also remember when I was younger, us sitting down at a restaurant and him telling me that he was now pre-diabetic. I can't say that I was shocked, even though I don't really remember how old I was, just because you see so many friends and family, all the things becoming sick in the community, right? And he liked to eat out. He enjoyed his food very much, steaks, all the things. You get the pictures there. So I remember even being young, taking upon myself just to try to be healthy, even though I didn't know what I was doing. I was, working out. I decided I was on this fit journey and watching the foods that I ate. But, the information they had out back then is very much different than what we know now. So I think I was like restricting carbs, which are not the thing to do, but that's just what I learned. I was just, trying to help. And I was trying to cook foods, do all of these things, just trying to help. So I was trying to cook at home. I was like, well, you don't need to go out. Because when you go out, you don't really know what's in your plate. But also at the end of the day, he ordered very heavy foods, saturated fats, processed foods, But he did the best he could raising me, right? And it's like, it's like in what you know, right? So that's why it's for us to be the change, right? One day at a time, okay? So he very much lost years off of his life. So I really wish that I could have helped him eat more plant-based, move more. His exercise consisted, of walking our dogs and just all of these things. Very dog-friendly people over here. But we cannot change that now. But what I can also do is help you that are listening, so that you can be the change, so that you can help improve your life, so that you can help others that's in your community, your family, your friends, anybody. Just get the message out there, right? But you have to do it. You can't just say it, right? Our eating habits and our lifestyle play a major role in developing heart disease and many others as well. I mean, when factors for one are factors for many. So whether you're talking about diabetes, certain cancers, heart disease, they're all linked when you think about it, right? And there are many studies where there's participants that they test on the effects of a plant-based diet, all right, with even moderate to severe heart disease, and where there were no surgeries used, no stents, and just by focusing on the food that they're eating and your lifestyle was able to improve. I mean, that's amazing. Would you rather cook some low-fat, yummy food, right, plant-based, and just move your body, meditate, do all of these wonderful things, or go to surgery, right? You think about that. And, I say plant-based diet sometimes, but it is a lifestyle, right? Just diet is just a word that we're using to talk about food. But a lot of times I say plant-based diet, sometimes I say plant-based lifestyle. It is what it is, right? And it's all about whole foods, right? In its whole form and not being processed. So it's not about just being vegan, right? It's about the quality of the food that we are consuming. And it's so good. I mean, food in its natural form is just yummy, right? And then you can just open up your cabinet, get some spices, and just go to town. Just create whatever it is that you want to create, right? But a plant-based diet definitely benefits heart health. Look, there's no dietary cholesterol in it, very little saturated fat, a lot of fiber. I mean, it's just a win when you think about it, right? Meat, the cheese, eggs, and all these other things, they're packed with cholesterol and all that saturated fats, right? And it's just going to cause a plaque buildup. And we don't want that, okay? We want our arteries nice and flowy, right? So that we don't want them built up with plaque. We want our blood to flow through. We don't want our heart to pump harder because it loves us and we want to take care of our heart, right? Because eventually that's what's going to lead to heart disease, right? And so we just want to focus on these things, right? And then a plant-based diet will also help improve other risk factors, right? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, osteoporosis, inflammation, all of these things, right? And the diet is just one aspect of it, for sure. But sometimes people think they're eating healthy, but they're still having the steaks per se, because I was talking about that earlier. All these things, and you're just eating these fatty foods. But sometimes you don't know. So just being very mindful of what you are eating and what you're putting on your plate. Just do the best you can. Don't beat yourself up, but just do the best you can. And if something happens, you always can start over. You'll be like, oops, I had a day, or whatever it is, because nothing's perfect. Okay, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody is. Even those people that you see that they feel like they have everything going on, but they're really poised. They're human too. Things happen. All right. So just being aware of that. But you can change your diet, right? And it will give you so much power in your health, and you will feel absolutely amazing. And you will live a very, very, very long life. All right. I hope this helps somebody. That's why I'm here. And please leave a comment. Not leave a comment. Please leave a written review down and wherever you listen to your podcast at. All right? Because I'd love to know how this is benefiting you. And don't forget to share this podcast because you never know who it might help. All right? And lastly, if you are new to plant-based eating, really there is a 7-day plant-based guide that I have. It is bit.ly/kickstart plants. And the link is also in the show notes. So you can just click on over there and just pick it up. All right. Until next time. Bye.
If you like my mommy show, leave a review. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for coming by. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a written review. Until next time, love and light.